Good morning. Thank you all for being here this morning. Our goal this morning is to give you an update on what we've learned since last night and let you know where we're going with the investigation this morning. We're going to have our incident commander, Assistant Chief Tom Mosier from Burlington PD, along with Burlington Police Chief Van Wieringen. We're going to hear from Sheriff Will Reichert and Lieutenant Chris Kamek from Mount Vernon PD. They'll give you an update on the Skagit County Multiple Response Team, or SMART, investigation into the shooting. We'll also hear from our Skagit County Coroner, Haley Thompson. She will give you an update on the process of victim identification and how we release that information to the families and again to the public. And then we'll hear from Burlington Mayor Steve Sexton. And we're going to have all questions at the end. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Tom Moser. I am the Assistant Chief of Burlington. I was Incident Commander through this event. On behalf of all law enforcement, fire departments, and our support agencies that have responded to this event, I wish to extend our sincere condolences to the families of the victims of the senseless tragedy. At about 7 p.m. last night, officers were dispatched to an active shooter inside of the Macy's store at the Cascade Mall inside the Burlington city limits. Officers from over 26 agencies responded to Macy's. We had upwards of 200 officers on scene at one time. The initial officers that arrived on scene entered Macy's, where they located 4 deceased females, and a 5th male was transported by helicopter to Seattle Hospital. As officers arrived on scene last night, they were put into hasty search teams and responded inside the mall in teams anywhere from 3 to 5 officers. We had officers from 4 counties, including 3 separate tactical teams. We had support teams. We had Northwest Management Incident Team, as well as many agencies I can't even start to tell you that were there last night. Through this event, the support made our officers' response to this a little easier. This was a long, drawn-out process last night. As I was told this morning, the mall is over 400,000 square feet. Our officers, upon arrival, helped escort individuals that were either employees or shoppers in the store outside. As they proceeded to search the entire mall, they located numerous employees and shoppers that had sheltered in place inside of individual businesses, and they were escorted out the building as well. All of our victims, witnesses that were present at the time of the shooting were transported to a local church where they were reunited with family members. At this time, we have learned that the suspect had already fled the mall prior to officer arrival. We did not know that throughout the search process. The dedicated officers immediately responded. We had officers that respond that weren't called. We have them come from as far away as different parts of Snohomish County. We have even had some officers from King County, but definitely Island County, Whatcom County, and Snow County officers, as well as many federal agencies were there as well. All of these officers immediately reported for duty and joined teams. The Skagit County Multi-Agency Response Team, SMART, has taken charge of this investigation. At this time, they are processing the Macy's store with the assistance of the Washington State Patrol Crime Lab. And as far as the individual elements of this investigation, I'll let Lieutenant Chris Kamek address those. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Chris Kamek. I'm a lieutenant with Mount Vernon Police Department, and I'm currently the commander of Skagit's Multi-Agency Response Team. So a little background on the team. It's comprised of about 25 investigators from Skagit County, as well as the Washington State Patrol. Our primary role is typically when serious injury or death involves a situation involving a law enforcement officer, like an officer involved shooting, is what we're primarily called out to investigate. However, in these situations when an agency experiences a criminal event where the magnitude of the event exceeds the resources that are available, the agency can activate SMART. In this case, Burlington Police Department activated SMART. Our primary role is the investigative component of this scene, as Assistant Chief Moser just stated. The first few hours that we were on scene were primarily in a mode waiting for the entire mall to be cleared. It took several hundred to do that, going through, clearing every room, every nook and cranny to make sure that the suspect wasn't still on scene. What we know right now from security footage that we've recovered is that the suspect entered the mall without a weapon. About 10 minutes later, entered Macy's with a rifle, fired multiple times, struck, again, 4 females ranging in age from a teenager to seniors. Also, a male was struck, and all 4 of those were mortally wounded. Currently, our role out there and what we're working on is basically reconstructing the entire scene. And what that involves is photographing, videoing, forensic scanning, evidence collection, including latent prints, DNA, and anything that we can do to put the scene back together. We also have a team of detectives that are pursuing tips and leads that are coming in, and I believe either after or during this conference we'll be providing you some screen captures from the security footage that we recovered with the best available shots of the suspect that we could recover at this time, so you'll be getting that. And we're hoping what that will do is open up more leads and tips from the community that we can apprehend this individual. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Haley Thompson. I'm the Skagit County Coroner. My role in this is that we are involved in determining the cause and manner of death, in addition to confirming identification of these victims. At this point in time, I have not gained entrance into the scene. They're still processing, and until that contact is made with me for me to enter in, I have not seen any of these victims. I've not had a chance to get any information yet. The plan is once I gain access into the scene, I will do my part in processing and transporting those individuals to the Skagit Valley Hospital where an autopsy will take place. I have a pathologist on call who is willing to start that process as soon as we have to go ahead and have the individuals with us. I will not be able to release any information on these victims until the autopsy is complete. We need to confirm their identification. There's a lot of people in the mall, and we just can't rule out anything. I hope to have some information for you as soon as that is completed and we've confirmed that. But at this time, I'm just waiting for my initial response to the scene. Thank you.
Steve Sexton, the Mayor of the City of Burlington. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the families that were affected by this tragedy last night. There are people waking up this morning and their world has changed forever. The City of Burlington has probably changed forever, but I don't think our way of life needs to change in our community. This was a senseless act. It was the world knocking on our doorstep, and it came to our little community here. And we had a tremendous response from our first responders. I want to thank everybody that responded, 26 agencies, almost 200 individuals. And they did a fantastic job securing that scene, getting people out that were in danger. And I know that now our support goes with them to help them extend the long arm of the law to bring the son of a bitch to justice who did this to our community. And our community comes together in times of tragedy, and we're going to do it again. And I just want to let everybody out there know Any information you may have on who might have done this, please contact the authorities. And again, thoughts and prayers to the families as their lives have changed forever. And we just want everybody in the community to know that we're gonna get beyond this. So, thank you.
All right, at this point, we'll open it up for questions. I do want to let you know we have some representatives here from State Patrol as well as ATF and the FBI in case you have any questions that relate to those items.
Lieutenant, can you tell us anything about what you know about the suspect and where he might be?
Well, at this point, the suspect appears to be a male, probably late teens, mid-20s. You'll see by the photo in there, he looks younger, black shirt, black shorts. Whereabouts are unknown at this point.
Do you have a preliminary identification on him? You've seen a great picture of him. Do you not have leads as to who he is?
Yeah, we've been getting a number of tips and leads in, but nothing at this point that has led to an arrest.
You know his name?
Do we know his name?
Where he lives?
We do not have an identity on the individual yet, and we could certainly use the community's help on that.
So you say he came in without a gun and then had one 10 minutes later. What does that tell you?
It appeared that he walked into the mall on his own first. What he was doing there, I don't know at this point. And then later on, the video image picks him up in Macy's with the rifle.
So you think this is, I know, possibly reaching, but premeditated? A rifle was planted, he placed it somewhere?
You know, at this point, we're so early on in the investigation, I'd just be speculating on that. I don't know.
What was the time difference between the first entry without the rifle and then the rifle?
Appears to be 10 minutes or so.
Any preliminary word on the motive from the witnesses?
No, at this point in time, like I said, we're only about 12 hours into this. We haven't even gotten through the crime scene. We were interviewing in excess of 20 people last night or more. And again, any prediction at this point would just be speculation.
Is there any link between the victims?
Excuse me?
Have you found any link among the victims? Any link, any comment, anything tying them together?
Well, as Haley said as well, we're still working through identifications and contacting family members and doing victimology and all of that. So it's just too preliminary to comment on that.
So this was the makeup section. Do you believe he was targeting this area and women specifically?
I don't know at this point what his intentions or motives were.
Was a weapon recovered at the scene, or do you believe he still has it?
No, we recovered a weapon at the scene.
What was it?
It was a rifle, and I'm not going to disclose any more about the caliber or rounds fired or anything, because again, this is still an emerging investigation. We've got a suspect out there that has information and things like that, and so again, just be preliminary for me to start talking about the physical evidence.
Lieutenant, why do you believe that the suspect is Hispanic?
Well, I think that's conclusions drawn by people that have looked at the photograph. Dark hair, photographs aren't exact replicas because we're taking it off of security footage, but appears to be a little bit darker complected. So I suppose the race could be, anything in there, but I think that's why conclusions are being drawn there right now. And you can take a look at the photo yourself and see what conclusion you drew.
There's a report that a woman was in the dressing room in the makeup section and she heard a man yelling a woman's name over and over again. Can you talk about that and whether that may be a possible motive that he was targeting somebody in that makeup area?
I can't speak to that, no.
Have you heard that?
I'm not going to speak to the specific facts of the investigation right now about what we have heard, what we haven't heard, and what's going on there, because again, when you're talking with so many different people, witnesses, victims, people around there, we want to make sure that we get all of the information first and sort out what's factual and what might not be.
You believe the suspect is still in the area?
I don't know.
Can we talk to the FBI real quickly and ask if there's any reason to suspect terrorism here?
I'm Michael Knudsen, Assistant Special Agent in charge of the Seattle Field Office, and we have no indicia there is a terrorism act at this point in time.
What makes you say that?
There is no evidence to point to it at this point in time.
Can you discount that?
I cannot discount it, but I can't conclude it either. We're still in the very preliminary stages of the investigation.
Lieutenant, do you believe that he acted alone or possibly accomplices?
At this point, we're just looking for one individual.
Do you know how he got to the mall, and did you find a car or anything belonging to him?
Right now, we're just working off of the surveillance footage, which only allows us a view inside and around the immediate mall. We don't have any exterior at this point.
Is
How
your
long did the
identification
shooting
of
last?
the suspect based?
Hang on just a second. What was that?
How long did the shooting last? How long was he inside Macy's?
I don't have an exact count on that. It was, it was quite, quick. It wasn't a long length of time.
I'm
Minute or
curious.
so on the film.
Your identification of the suspect solely based on the video, or did you also have people tell you a description of the suspect?
Right now, I think our best imagery right now is coming from the screen capture off of the video. And then from there, hopefully people that know and recognize the individual will help us do confirmation on what facts we do.
How many witnesses were there?
What's that?
How many
I don't have an
witnesses were there?
exact count, but we had in excess of 20 that we took out. As Assistant Chief Moser said, we had so many patrons of the mall that were there who stuck around, employees and things like that. So we were interviewing for over an hour last night with multiple detectives.
It seems like the identification of the victims is a critical part of this investigation. Can you talk, maybe in broad terms, about just how difficult that is, because you have a crime scene that needs to be processed, but here we have a suspect that's on the loose that may have ties to 4 or 5 victims, yet we don't have the identities yet because it's part of the scene, but that's critical information to know now, as soon as we can, to try and make the connections. Can you talk a little bit about the challenge there?
Yeah, let me tell you that probably one of the most difficult moments for us last night was knowing that there were family members outside wondering about their loved one was in there. And, we were restricted by the time it takes to clear and make it safely so we don't have more victims in there, clearing them all for the, potentially a second shooter, a third shooter, we didn't know at the time until we cleared it and got the facts of that. The relationships, it certainly is, but at the same time, we have to be able to reconstruct this crime scene in a way that when we bring this individual to justice, that there is a fair and objective and transparent case that's presented on what his actions do. So that does take time. And we want to make sure that we're very careful and that we're very cautious in our approach and that we're very thorough as well. So it does take time in that regard.
Lieutenant, where was he last seen, and do you have any reason to believe that he had help in getting away, a getaway driver? Was he was apparently walking towards the freeway? Was that where people saw him last?
The surest thing I have right now is just from the security camera footage from inside the store. So when he exited the building, I can't speak to routes and things like that right now because, again, it would just be speculating on that.
What have you learned about why he stopped shooting? Was he confronted, or did he just stop?
We're 12 hours into this. More information is unfolding. I don't know what his motivations were. I don't know what his motivations was to do this. I don't know what his motivations was to continue. I don't know what his motivations was to stop. But I certainly plan to find out through the investigation to the best of our ability.
Do you know if
We're gonna
anyone
take 2
confronted
more
him
questions.
at all? Or
I'm sorry, what was
do you
it?
know if anyone confronted him at all?
I don't know that.
Should the community be worried about going out or avoid going out or avoid areas that you guys are investigating?
Right now we would appreciate if they would stay away from the Cascade Mall, only because we're trying to get work done there and we have the area closed off, and we don't feel it's an unsafe area to be right now. It's just complicated with the closures and things like that, so we don't want any accidents there. In the broader community, no. I think it's a very safe community to be in, and what we're actually hoping for is that people will take a look at the photographs that we're producing and putting out there, and when they're out and about, if they spot that individual, to contact law enforcement. We have a couple of different ways to do that. We have a tip line number that's on there that will ring directly to our 24-hour dispatch center, and then those tips will be forwarded to investigators to follow. There's also will be an email on there that goes to an investigations group that will receive that, and then also we have Crime Stoppers that you can make a notification to as well.
Should other businesses in the area, we get a lot of questions about, like, is Target open, should Red Robin stay away, stuff like that?
The strip mall over by Target, I understand, is open, the rest of it's closed.
Oh, thank you.
Great, thank you very much for coming. We'll be pushing some information out through our press releases and also through our Twitter and Facebook pages. We don't plan to have another press conference at this time. If we get new information that warrants a press conference, we'll let you know.
Can we get spellings on Chris's name?
Yeah, Chris Cammock, Cammock, and again, I'm a lieutenant with Malvern Police Department.